You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. You're fucked, mate. We're nice now.
We are recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Friends of Rugby podcast. You're here with Steve. I should have came up with like a DJ name. Fuck. And Frank the Tank.
Mine's easy. My last name is McDonald. I'm MC Frank.
I
see.
And Frank's dog, Rocky.
Where is he?
I don't know, but he'll make an appearance somewhere in this podcast. We just have to accept that he's actually like part of the show now.
Lovable rogue. He doesn't know anything about
Takes
rugby.
us to court.
Yeah.
How have you been?
Yeah, well, we had some smoky weather, didn't we? So the games that I was coaching got cancelled as I was halfway to driving up to a GP on 5-hour drive. So, yeah, I know.
That's got to be brutal.
It was kind of...
I'm so glad I didn't go on that trip.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, well, neither did anyone else.
Actually, last minute, I was on the Friday. I was like, oh, you know what? I could technically go out.
What?
And I was going to register.
Yeah.
And play. I was like, you know what? Why should I wait? Why should I just get up there? I want to go to GP. I like playing up there. I like the people up there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I should go.
It would have been fun.
It would have been fun, but then last minute I was like, and then I woke up in all the smoke, and I was like, oh, you guys are gonna get canceled. I didn't know like all you guys left, and it took a while.
Yeah, I was on the road for about an hour before we cancelled the game. So,
I've been rugby's like coaching's like kind of taking over my life right now.
Yeah, me too. In fact, it's ironic that the real rugby has stopped me from researching television rugby that we talk about. Like, I didn't watch a lot of rugby this weekend.
All the rugby, teaching, coaching, all that stuff, it could just consume your life.
It does, yeah.
It's hard. Rugby's a difficult sport. We were just talking, we were just trying to break down some rule, and you basically need like a law degree to like go through rugby law rules.
I thought fixing the DuPont law would make it easier to understand, and as we're sat here trying to research it, we're both like, what the fuck?
You made a good point, though, about what you said. Like, imagine if you're new to the sport.
Yeah.
Rugby is a very difficult sport to understand as a new fan. Because I remember when I first started watching rugby and just trying to figure out the game, it took me like more than a year to figure out watching rugby. And it took a long time to really fully understand the game of why they were doing things and why they would do things the way, because it's just so different from every other sport. We're
rugby nerds, and even today we're confused.
Yeah.
That's
how complex the sport is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's kind of a downer because it's kind of like it's such a hard sell.
And they seem to be making it more complicated, don't they? They're not making it easier. No. I remember back when I started watching rugby, and you could scrape your foot along someone's eyes in a ruck, and everyone was like, "Yeah, that's fine," And now they've got 13 different rules that stop that.
Yeah, the difficulty of learning it, and the games the games don't teach you at all either, right? So that's another thing too. There's a lot of calls that happen in rugby. Sorry, I'm just getting on we just got right into it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of calls when you're watching rugby and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You're like, what was that?
Yeah.
Like, what happened there?
And someone's screaming back 10 at you, and you're like, what happened?
And the worst part is the announcers don't even know.
No.
The announcers are all confused, so they don't even say anything.
Yeah.
They're just like, we're thinking what we're thinking happened. You're like, what do you mean what you're thinking happened? Like, what do you mean?
Get
like,
the fucking crystal ball. Do you know what's even worse is when I've played in games, and actually more so when I've coached, I'll see a call go against our team, and to be honest, it was the wrong call, and I know I'm biased, but you see something blatant sometimes, and you look at it and go, that's not... And then I've got new players, and they'll be like, what was that? And I'll be like, wish I could tell you. You did not do anything wrong. Keep doing what you're doing, and if you give way more penalties, you're just going to have to deal with it, because what you did was not wrong, Yeah,
ref adapting in this sport is like... It's a skill.
You shouldn't have a style either, should you? There should be rules that we follow. There shouldn't be styles of referee,
It's how complex the game is, because like you can't... Yeah, you have to being able to ref adapt is like there's catching, there's tackling, and there's ref adapting in this sport.
Yeah.
Because you got to learn the ref.
You got to brown nose the ref.
Because who's that? Is it Matthew Renault?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when it comes to the breakdown, anything goes with him. He just lets it all go.
Yeah.
He doesn't care what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, as long as there's a breakdown, whatever, just keep the game going.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's other refs that were like a hardcore on the breakdown.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Wayne Barnes was a guy like that. And I could be wrong.
Yeah, he blows his whistle quickly at breakdowns.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong.
And Matthew Renault's like this Wild West, and he's like, fuck yeah.
But then you'll have the same, sometimes Renault, like when the scrum is happening, is like, you step back 2 inches, you 1 inch, and could you move your arm over here? And it's like, you're not fucking sculpting marble here, mate. Just let them have a scrum, you know?
Yeah,
like,
so every ref has like their thing.
Yeah.
So you got to ref adapt in this sport.
That annoys the shit. You shouldn't have to adapt. Like, there's rules, follow them. And I know like it's not ref's fault, but yeah.
I love it. I love it.
We're digging our own grave, though.
I think it's one of the, for me personally, that aspect of it, I love that part. Like how every game is like, it's like one of those video games where like every time you get on the map's always different because it's auto-generated, so you don't know what you're getting into. It's like that. It's like you just don't know what you're getting. Yeah. Right? Like, a new ref. Like, so you don't know what he's going to be like, and he's going to ref this way or that way. So every game is like a little different. Every game has like different elements. I personally love that.
I like that it adds a talking point, but I am worried we're scaring people off a bit. You know?
Yeah. The majority of people that I think would like complain about that are people that have been watching rugby forever.
I complain about it, and I've been watching rugby a while. Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll come back to that because we are going to talk about rule changes, aren't we?
We are going to talk about rule changes today.
Let's talk about rugby that happened this weekend, though.
The URC.
The URC was...
the best league in the world. Come on, say it. You know you want to say it.
No, I don't, because the Gallagher had some games this weekend. So
the Gallagher had some exciting games. Yeah. But all the glory...
It was very predictable.
The best players in the world are in the URC.
The creme de la creme of world rugby. It was a bit predictable. I mean, as much as I'm a Welshman and a proud one, it's hard to give a shit right now. Like, we've been shit all season, all Welsh regions, and it's not going to get any better next season.
The Stormers beat the Dragons. Who saw that coming?
Well, when I tuned in, the Dragons were winning, and I was like, this is not going to last. And it didn't, because they got 2 kind of dumb yellow cards.
That must be the worst, being like a Dragons fan.
That's the hope.
Like, they come in hot.
Yeah.
And because they've done it a lot this season.
Yeah.
Them and Cardiff.
Yeah.
Have done that a lot this season.
Strong lead.
Where they kind of make you believe.
Yeah.
And then they like...
break your goddamn heart.
They break your goddamn heart.
And it seems like mystical and fun, but the truth is it's bench. It's all about bench depth, right? And Welsh regions don't have depth on their bench like these other teams. So it's good because it shows you their starting 15 is good, but they just do not have the resources to see out 80 minutes like these other teams do.
Yeah, they got to finish their hand jobs.
They're just like, teasing everyone. Yeah,
they're just, that girl is giving the hand job and then she kind of gets tired. You're like,
falls asleep.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't know.
I'm tired.
That's never happened to me before. I just want to say. But yeah, no, oh man, yeah, it's got to be hard to be a Dragons fan.
It's hard being any Welsh Regions fan.
When you're a Dragons fan, you're really doing it for the love. Like, you are a real rugby fan. If you're a diehard Dragons fan, you are a rugby fan.
I think if you're showing up at any Welsh stadium bar the Ospreys this season, you must love the game deeply. And the Cardiff are getting some good crowds. Newport's crowds aren't bad either, to be honest. Like,
I like underdog teams because, like, when they do win, it feels so good.
Yeah, it's like fucking Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the wins are... Because, like, when Leinster wins, like, okay, yeah, Leinster's going to win, right?
Yeah.
Bulls win, okay, yeah, you expect that to win. But when, like, a Lions win, when the Cardiff Blues win, when Dragons win, you're like, you feel good about that. I heard even Zeebrey gave Edinburgh a little scare, too.
They did. They had some really nice tries. They had some really nice open field tries, actually.
It's just this is another depth game.
They're all depth games. That's for me why USC is hard to get behind completely, because the results have become predictable. And this end of the season, they do, because you've got teams like Munster who are making their title charge. They've got some momentum. And teams like Connacht who could maybe make the playoffs. Yeah. But you kind of think, so the momentum kind of kills those less good teams,
Another team that would be should feel bad about themselves too is Glasgow, because they almost did it in They almost did it with the Bulls. They almost did a job there.
I was kind of surprised by that. I think Glasgow needed to win that to convince me they can win the URC, actually.
Me too.
Like
right? If they would have won that game, okay, I'm like, these
I'd
guys
believed.
I would have been probably a believer.
Yeah.
But they lost that game, and man, like, that was the game that was supposed to put me in the Glasgow believer seat.
Yeah.
Like, okay, these guys are for real.
Yeah.
Even though I think they are still sitting in the top.
They are top.
On the top of the
But it
URC.
doesn't feel, I don't know why, I can't put my finger on why it doesn't feel convincing, you know? And actually that game is a good example because if you can beat the Bulls, and they nearly beat them. They nearly beat them, but I just cannot see them beating Leinster at home. Well, maybe even Glasgow beat at home based on league standings, but I just cannot see Glasgow beating Leinster at home. I just don't know. I don't think the way they fell out of the Champions Cup and the way they lost to the Bulls, they just have not got that clinical edge, you know? As good as they are.
Yeah, because at points that game was theirs.
Yeah.
And they just can't hold on.
No. It feels weird to shit on a team who's top of the league, though. It does feel weird.
It's weird when you don't believe in the team that's up.
But, you look at Leinster, who sent 2 basically C teams to South Africa to basically risk a loss. Glasgow couldn't have done that. So every time they play, they're playing with the best players they got, right? But when Leinster send a team, they're kind of like, well, we're just saving our main squad for the finals. And it's strategic. Glasgow don't have the depth to do that. So I think
which almost cost Leinster that semifinal.
Yeah.
Because they looked undercooked in that game.
Yeah, they did. They did, yeah. So.
And a team that should feel good about themselves, happy team, Benetton.
Yeah, they could make a playoff and surprise some people. And I think but even if you played Benetton and Glasgow, I wouldn't know who to put my money on because Benetton have been that good this season, right?
Oh yeah, that's a kind of up in the air game.
I really want to know who the last 4 are going to be for the URC now, in terms of when we get to the semi-finals, because it looks like comfortably Bulls, Glasgow, Leinster, and Munster, and then I think it'll end up being a Bulls Leinster final then, based on what I've seen, you know.
I think you've been kind of calling that all year.
I think I have, yeah. I'm not saying
it's kind of been showing that the Bulls and Leinster are but man, there's some teams that are kind of growing. Like Ulster. Ulster's been improving.
They beat this,
they beat the Scarlets.
Actually, with no respect to Scarlets whatsoever. They should have won that. They should have won that every time.
And Munster hammered.
They did.
Connacht.
Yeah.
They hammered them.
Yeah, I managed to watch a fair bit of that game. Actually, that was comprehensive. Yeah,
and they got guys coming back. RG Simon
he had a game.
is actually playing.
He had a game.
It's actually playing for them.
That's what I said though. If they get another URC championship out of him, if he, he's in town. Not the last year's one, but if this, if he wins the URC for him, he's worth his money. Plays half an hour and he wins them the URC. Who cares? See you next year in
He's
Leinster.
Just walking the league. He's dog walking that league.
It's a bit, yeah. He is good, man.
Lions pumped Cardiff.
The Cardiff are we tried. We don't even want our losing bonus point this week. You can have it. We're done. See you next season. I watched a picture as well. It was a graphic by Scarlett's social media, and it's how many players are leaving their region.
Oh, wasn't it
it's like a whole squad's
20 or 18 or something like that?
It's a lot of players.
I saw something about that.
It looks like a team sheet. When
but I also saw a lot of team players leaving announcements.
Yeah.
And a lot of them had a pretty long list.
They did.
Yeah.
And to be fair,
I thought that when I saw the Scarlets one, I thought that was oh, this is weird. But then a lot of other teams are coming out these are all the players that are leaving our squad.
Yeah.
And I was okay, there's 18, 20.
The difference is from a Welsh perspective, though, other Welsh regions are already making signings, and it's Scarlets are radioactive because I've not heard many people actually signing for them. Cardiff and Ospreys and even Dragons have made some decent signings.
I'd love to see the financials.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what they're playing with.
About £13, I think.
It's paying guys and hot dogs.
Yeah. So with the greatest respect to Ulster, who I like, I don't think that's anything to brag about. Even at home, even when Scarlets are at home, And
the Ospreys, they took a fucking pounding from Leinster
again.
too.
They were up at one. No, I don't think they were up. They were drawing, I think, at halftime. I thought, oh, okay. They punched above their weight this season, and then I didn't watch the second half, and then I saw that, and I was like, yeah, makes sense. Whatever. They've got nothing left to play for.
If you're looking at the standings, for the URC, and you see this could be, in the playoffs, it could when it comes down to the knockout stages, it could have every union, is represented in the knockout stages, except for a Welsh team.
Yep. Yeah. All that needs to happen is Munster need to back away and let Benetton climb up a little bit more.
Scotland's in there, Ireland's in there, South Africa's in there.
Yeah.
Italy is in there.
Hey, I got time for Benetton.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Good for them. No, it's pathetic.
How are the Italian how is Benetton doing so well?
I think they're just managing their resources better, They've got a really good under-20 setup and it's starting to pay off. You've got to remember it's a big, wealthy country as well, right? So they've got, the resources.
I know their rugby budget is not big.
It's not big, but
and
if you've got two teams rather than four.
It's the smallest of the Six Nations.
I think them and the reason why Glasgow, Edinburgh and Benetton are doing well is because they have two teams and they can just condense their resources. I do think it's that simple and they're doing it smartly now, right? Because if you actually, contrast Italy's under-20s with Scotland's under-20s. Scotland's under-20s, it looks a bit bleak. They have not got a lot of talent coming through.
Yeah, that's been the talk of the town.
Yeah.
They're, I think we're going to be coming into an era of, shitty Scotland coming up pretty soon because all I'm hearing and what I'm seeing from their youth squads is not good.
Yeah, I heard the same things. And, in Wales, we can at least say we always generally have talent coming through because we like rugby that much. But, half of them bugger off to Exeter and don't come back.
I was just going to make an Exeter comment.
We just can't hang on to it. So what Scotland do is they seem to have an effective scouting method, right? They do. I think they signed Tuipulotu's brother to...
Yeah, I saw that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they know their talent isn't that homegrown.
They're really good at outsourcing.
They are, exactly.
They're very good at okay, who has a Scottish dog?
Yeah.
Who it's hey you, what's your cat?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Scottish dog. Okay, you're great enough.
Some Scottish guy's on holiday in Australia's he's big. Can you check who his auntie is? Just go ask him where his auntie's
They're a
from.
very good outsourcing team.
Yeah.
Which is kind of concerning because if they don't have that youth talent coming in.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of holding on to a bunch of their players that are good are getting up there.
Yeah.
So they're starting to rely on these guys too much, and they weren't even able to crack that upper echelon of
no.
they haven't won a Six Nations.
No, ever.
They've beaten England every year. That's pretty much. I think that's Scotland's only goal.
They've got that elephant trophy they love. What's it called? The Calcutta Cup. It's got an elephant on it.
They got screwed in the last two World Cups by being in just not even being able to get into the...
we talked about this. I always remember that, the one before, fair enough, the ref did screw him, the 2019 one. But the most recent one, that was the best Scotland team ever. That, people are saying this, not necessarily me. They didn't fire a shot against South Africa or New Zealand or Ireland. They did not fire a shot.
Those are the best two teams in the world.
Right, but they was.
I think if you
want to win a World Cup, you've got to beat the best teams in the world, right?
If you put Scotland in, if you took Japan out, and you put Scotland in with Argentina and England,
but you're not there to get up the world rankings. You're there to win a World Cup, and they just looked like they weren't threatening anybody.
It's just kind of disheartening. It's just you want to see them get out to the knockout stages, even if they lose there.
Yeah.
Right, but those two teams, the Box and Ireland were just red hot.
They were.
Going into that, the Springboks destroyed the All Blacks in that game, so they're coming in the World Cup all hot and heavy.
Yeah,
Ireland, they beat New Zealand. They beat everyone before coming into the World Cup.
Yeah.
So it's just.
Having said that, Scotland have made a semi-final. And I know it's a cliche at this point, but Scotland can at least they don't have that monkey on their back. So as good as Ireland are, they've still got that monkey on their back.
When did they reach a semi-final?
I don't know. Ages ago.
Is Ireland the only tier 1 nation?
That's why it's a joke because they've never done it, right?
It's a thing now for them.
Oh yeah, it's totally a thing.
It's gonna be the next World Cup's gonna be on.
I can't wait for their managers and their coaches and their players to be like, yeah, we don't even think about it. We haven't even talked about that. It's you are all
now.
shitting the bed.
Yeah, you guys are all.
The weight of history is unfucking bearable.
I'm still upset about that.
I bet. Yeah, I would be. I do feel bad for them because the last two times they have come up against New Zealand and everyone's like, this is the year New Zealand is shit. New Zealand are never shit. They're never mediocre, right? They
know how to do World Cups.
Of course they do, yeah. Their depth is insane, right? They're never going to be bad at a World Cup, regardless of how good France or Ireland or South Africa are looking,
Yeah, because the World Cup is an attritional beast.
Yeah.
You have to dig deep to win.
Yeah.
And that's something that Ireland, they just don't have when it comes to that kind of world stage. You have to go to a dark place. to like win a world. It's hard. It's hard to win a World Cup because you have to have all the.
You have to get everything right, and I think they can. You know, they've got all the stuff to do it. They just don't have the experience, do they?
Yeah, you don't want to. What was I gonna say? Oh, fuck! I just lost my train of thought there.
What Ireland can't make a semi because, like, you've got to have. You know, it's hard, it's dark. Something like
dark.
that.
You got to darkness.
Yeah, I'm reading the transcript here.
You got to get dark. You got to go dark.
Yeah, you got to get dark, yeah. They can do it.
That's something that New Zealand and the Box can do.
Yeah.
And they have really good game plans.
Well, not just them, everyone else as well.
I guess so.
Everyone else.
I guess so.
Yeah. Anyway, I think they can do it. But that, you know, when they say like, oh, we're not even thinking about it, I'm like, bullshit, you're thinking about it.
But yeah, when you're looking at the URC table here, yeah, there's the Welsh teams are not looking
stinking up the bottom, aren't we? Like a fucking rotting vegetables down there.
Guys like are collecting it.
It's just got lead feet down there.
Boiling a bunch of vegetables.
Sitting down there in the compost heat of the bottom of the URC. Yeah.
I think the teams that are like, I'm surprised by Ulster, like kind of crawling. They crawled up. They've had a bit
of luck as well. Like, I'm still not over that Cardiff Ulster game. I'm still not over it. Like, that was luck, you know.
But for where they're ending up right now, like how it's shaping up for them, like like that's kind of surprising too for me, because I thought they were going to be like scraping the bottom too.
Yeah, I think everyone below the Ospreys has been in the mix. Like Sharks, Cardiff, Scarlets, Dragons, Zebra, never going to happen. But even Ospreys were in contention to make the playoffs, right? I don't think it's realistic now. But, you know, any one of those teams from the Ospreys up are all on about, 8, 9, 10, 11 wins. So it's only one or two results needs to go one way or the other, and you're in a playoff spot, right? So, but I think the difference is, like I said, Glasgow, Leinster, Munster, Bulls, hard for anyone else to beat them on their day, and it's particularly hard for anyone to beat Leinster, Bulls, or Munster in a knockout game, you know?
Because it's the top 8 that go into the knockout stages.
Yeah.
So like right now, if you went into it, Glasgow would play Benetton.
Yeah.
Which I think could be an up in the air game.
Benetton could do it, yeah.
Leinster would play Edinburgh.
Leinster win that.
So they would win that.
Yeah, 100%.
Munster would play Ulster.
Munster win that.
Yeah.
And
then the Bulls would play the Stormers, which I think would be...
That's a spicy one.
Would be a spicy one.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I couldn't call that. Because Stormers have been hot and cold, but they have gotten better as the season's gone on.
Oh, yeah, because when they're good, they can beat anyone.
Yeah.
Like, Stormers can beat Leinster.
Oh,
I think they even have beaten
No, they
them.
did in the inaugural season, didn't they? Yeah.
So they could... I can see Stormers beating Leinster. I can see the Bulls beating Leinster. I don't know if Munster can do it. Leinster's got a mental...
They do, don't
they? They are the boogeyman.
Yeah.
And Glasgow would have to like fucking pull something like hard. Like they'd have to like pull some magic.
I feel like a Glasgow hater. I'm really not. I just don't believe it. There's just a piece missing from that jigsaw in my heart, you know?
Yeah, and I want to be wrong.
Me too.
I'd be happy if they won.
Oh, 100%.
If they won the URC.
I love that.
Yeah, I would be like completely happy with that.
Yeah, me too.
Even if Benetton won it. Yeah. If Benetton won it after beating all those teams, like imagine they beat Leinster like in the final.
I would take anyone but Leinster, to be honest. Like, actually, maybe not the Stormers.
I could be even happy with... I'm happy with actually anyone. I don't want Bulls or Stormers to win it.
You are the one. Oh, isn't it great they're here? Isn't it great they're here? You said
they can win it.
You've got to stick to your fucking
They've already
guns.
won it. They can win it in a couple of years. I don't want them to win. I don't want any South African team to win the
I fucking
URC.
knew you thought that deep down.
Yeah, I kind of deep down. I don't mind if they win it in a couple of years.
They don't belong here. Say it.
No, they belong here. I
All
like having them in there.
All right.
You want to talk about the Prem?
Yeah, I do.
Where should we start?
Let's start with the game of the weekend, the absolute thrashing of Gloucester.
Do you want to talk about that?
I don't know. I don't really want to say except it's kind of funny.
Oh my god,
it's just kind of funny
because he had like Bath beat Newcastle, which I never saw coming. Newcastle needs to get relegated
to relearn how to play rugby again.
Because I know they have a bunch of youngsters leaving their team.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to build a team if you're losing all your young players?
No, it's not looking good from next year either.
No. It's like they're just in it I don't
think they want to be there.
Because there's no relegation.
No, and that's a travesty, that is.
So there's no... Oh, man.
Imagine being like, you know,
No,
Ealing Trailfinders kicking ass all year.
I went into. We'll go on a tangent. Actually, let's go on a tangent here.
All right.
I went into like a
Guess
little.
I'm coming with you.
I went into. Oh yeah, you're coming with me. I went into a little rugby hole. I was looking into. For some reason, I got like real interested in looking into the English Championship.
Okay.
So I was like, man, what are these teams? Like, I don't know anything about this.
Okay.
So I start looking at all the teams.
Yeah.
And then I start looking at all their stadiums and where they play. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
The quality,
Yeah.
like from the Prem to the Championship, drops like crazy.
That's why they ring
Like,
fenced it.
guys are playing in fucking fields in the middle of nowhere. I was like, what team was it? There was I can't remember the team, but they like were playing. They play literally in the middle of the field. They don't even have stands. They have a bunch of mismatched
They've got
benches.
like an iron scaffold barrier.
They have a line. They have a line of
Yeah.
mismatched, like these random benches that they must have gotten donated from other places.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm looking at the arenas that they're playing and stuff, and they're all like around, like these arenas that they play in are all around like 2,000 to 4,000 fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like looking, I was like, holy shit.
That's been the Gallagher Prem's reason for not letting them up. It's not that they aren't good. It's not that they couldn't beat other Prem teams. It's just that they do not have the facilities to go up. You know?
I'm looking like the Cornish Pirates, like their field that they play on. It's like they've been playing in the same field. It looks like they had a picture of it, and then they had a picture of it from like fucking like 1916, and it's exact same setup,
same
seats, the same like the roof is all rusted out in the Cornish Pirates and shit. And I'm just looking at this like, holy fuck! Like I was like, oh, it's
got to remember though, like even at the top of the Prem, like English rugby is not as big in England as you might think it is. Like football is such a dominant sport.
Oh, 100%. I know that, but all the talk about the rugby championship, and like there's a lot of money talk, and like the RFU's not supporting them. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm looking at these clubs, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is like some of their outfits are comparable to ours here in Canada.
I was just gonna say, my hometown club is a town of 10,000 people. It's as good as the Cornish Pirates Stadium. As good. Like, you know,
it's like I'm looking at this and I was like, man, and they're like, oh, we need money, and I'm like, man, this is like dire straits here. I was like,
can you feed your children, please, RFU?
Yeah, you know,
this is neglect.
There's a lot of bitching about like how they've been like taking money from the championship and putting it into women's rugby. Yeah, and I'm like, well, fucking look at what's going on here in the championship.
English women are kicking ass. Like,
how many years has the championship been getting money? Yeah. From the RFU?
Before they even realized women could play rugby or allowed to play rugby. Yeah. You were getting money long ago.
Years and years and years and years. And then you got this like decrepit shed after all these years. Yeah. All like this club's like, we've been around for 150 years and you got a shed? You got a fucking shed? Yeah. I was like, that's what you got? Like, you deserve to, like, not get anything. Like,
but that's their model. They wait for a billionaire to come along. Go, can I buy that club? It's like, yeah, have it. As long as you build a stadium, you can have it.
It's fucking...
We'll do your deal.
That's what happens. That's what happens. Like, Bristol got a bunch of money come in. And, you know? Yeah. But I was just, like, looking at this. I was like, okay, there's no one that can... Like, there's none of these clubs. I'm looking at all these clubs. There's no one that can go into the Prem.
No, that's what they've been saying. Right. So like,
there's no point of even ring fencing it, like of having a relegation, because what are you going to do? Oh, yeah, we got relegated. Okay... Just give us like 4 years to make a new arena. Like, you can't, like, it was fucking like, I was like, holy shit. And then I looked at the second division in France. Yeah. That is like comparable.
It's bumping. Yeah.
Comparable to the top 14.
Yeah. It's
like
comparable
all
to
their
the Gallagher.
Stadiums are like 10,000 plus. They got like nice stadiums. Like everyone's playing like all these like nice arenas and stuff. And you're just like, holy shit. Like, the difference between the second division in England versus the second division in France is like night and day.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like night and day. You know what would be better for the Premiership if they just joined up with the Pro D2 and played against them.
They still get their ass kicked.
Yeah, because they're paying big money too.
Of course they are. Yeah,
those Pro D, the second division in France, like they're paying big money for some players.
Oh yeah,
they got fucking Courtney Laws going to like the second.
George
division.
North just went there.
Yeah, yeah. So they got money, and these teams, you could tell they have monies, and they got money like going down. like down even further in French.
Well, it's all about. That's why I keep saying it's all about money. That's their model, right? They want a big millionaire to come in and be like, "I'll buy that club off you," and they just sort it all out, right? Like, but that has not happened in English rugby.
I just thought that was depressing when I saw they're like, "Oh, we've been around for 150 years and we got this shed."
Yeah,
and you're like, "Oh my god!" Like, fuck, of course you guys. There's no more
that's
relegation.
Why they're not letting you up.
Yeah, that's why they're not letting you up.
It's like when the bouncer's like, "Not in those shoes, mate. You're not coming in."
Right?
Not in those shoes. I've been trying really hard.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. You know, like where is that money going? Like where is that money? Like what is the? It's I don't know. Like it's there.
But the question is, what money? You know, what money?
Well, they've been getting money for years, and they're saying that it's getting less and less and less.
Yeah.
Right? Well, what happened in all the years you guys are getting supposedly good money?
I don't think they were ever getting good money. They're just getting less money now.
Yeah. So I don't know, and I don't know how much they were getting, but it had to have been something significant.
Why do you think that?
Because of I remember like reading like something about there was like millions going into those championships clubs.
But they're all on player wages, right? If it's a professional league.
I'm not saying that those clubs got like millions of dollars each.
Yeah.
But it was up there, and they were getting like hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
To run that club.
That probably exclusively goes on wages and coaching staff, though. You know,
yeah.
You can't even buy a spare chair by the time they've run out of that money.
There's just probably like no one that knows how to run business in those setups.
I don't think it's like that. I just think their model's wrong. I think they need to look at how Ireland do it, where it's like, you know, the RFU would own all the clubs and then they divide that money equally. Because otherwise, if this Victorian style trickle down economics of, you know, we'll bring in a billionaire, like what happens if he dies? What happens if he gets bored? This is what happens.
Yeah, but what's Ireland's second division?
Well, Ireland's not as, you know, England has like 60 million people. Ireland has like 8. So they just don't have that, do they? You know?
No, they go from high school into academies and then
they have rugby clubs, you know.
Yeah, they have rugby clubs, but they're pulling everyone from academies.
Yeah.
So these kids go from high school to academies and then they make it pro or not. And then if not, they go into play in their local clubs.
Yeah.
Or they go overseas. And
that happens in England. So in that same championship, you've got Hartpury College, and that is literally an English rugby academy, right? That whole college is come be an England player, right? So a lot of England players went through Hartpury College, but they can't have 10 of them all spread out across the country, right? Because that would cost millions.
So like Newcastle to me is like one of those clubs that like they snuck in and they got locked in and they're just like
getting kicked
we're
when
here.
they're down.
They're like
I don't think they're happy about it. I think they're in the corner bleeding while 2 dudes are just kicking them in the head and they're like, "Can I go?"
No, because they're getting prem money and like they're just laughing. They're just like, "This is fucking awesome!" Like they got their fucking shed. I don't know what Newcastle's arena looks like.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's better than
it's just fucking like it must be like unreal. Like, but oh man. Anyways, let's get back. Sale fucking beat Leicester.
Yeah, they did.
Leicester are out now.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. That's
for their team that they have.
Yeah,
and
to have Andre Pollard playing at 10 for you, that's a bit depressing, isn't it?
I wonder if they're gonna fire their coach. I think I said this before. I wonder because he's that Australian guy. I keep forgetting his name. Something McKellar. And I wonder if they're gonna do. They're gonna probably do a coaching change there. They're gonna have to do a whole personnel setup. Like, yeah, because they got some big money players in Leicester, and to be they're kind of the surprise letdown for me of this of the Prem.
Yeah, going from champions to what are they 8th now? That's pretty shit. I can't see anyone beating Northampton. Like when they absolutely trounced Gloucester this weekend, that was their way of saying after they lost that championship games, like we haven't gone anywhere.
That was fucking Kate. Was it 90 to
0 to nil a team and score 90 points? Like,
90 points.
Yeah.
Now I heard Gloucester rested a bunch of players because they're Challenge Cup.
Oh yeah, they could win the Challenge Cup.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
So they're going for the Challenge Cup, right?
Yeah. Fair enough.
But there should never ever be a situation in the Premiership, no matter what field you put out, no matter what team you field, no matter what players you got, it's a Prem club. Go out there and lose 90-0.
The vibe right now in both leagues, I think URC and Gallagher, is there's a bunch of teams in there who are just like, we just don't fucking care. We've got other things to do. Gloucester have got their Champions Cup final. A bunch of the teams in the URC are like, we're not going to win anything. Let's just wait till next season.
See, my conspiracy is that Louis Rees-Zammit was just such a shining star in the club.
He carried the team.
He carried the morality of the team.
He was about worth a try a game, to be honest.
And then he left, and then the morale just went down.
It was
they're watching him just live it up in the States, and they're like, oh fuck, this sucks.
He's like having beers with what's he called? Travis Kelce Scott and Patrick Mahomes, and they're in the rainy shed in Gloucester going, that could have been me.
But there should never, ever in the Premiership, there should never be a fucking 90-0 game. Something is seriously wrong.
No, it's not
Gloucester.
wrong.
Oh my gosh.
No, they're just waiting for next week. Don't worry about it.
They gotta fucking fire everyone after that. Everyone's fired.
Imagine you're Zach Mercer though.
The guy that deals with the equipment, you're fired. The guy that changes the water filters,
all the bar staff gone.
He's fired. Everyone's fired. The chef, you're fucking gone. I would fire everyone.
Yeah.
90 to 0. Oh my God.
Imagine being Zach Mercer though. You've signed with Gloucester, an up and coming team, hoping to challenge so you can play for England. And you get hammered 90-0 by Northampton, who they didn't even break a sweat.
And you don't even get to play for England.
Yeah, you just sat there going, what the fuck have I done? Could be on a beach in France right now.
Did he even play in this game?
I don't know.
I gotta check the team. I got it right
probably
here.
not, to be honest, because they probably do want him
I
to
gotta see
if
he was. I guarantee he was not in there. No.
Yeah, I have no doubt he was not in that team.
He wasn't in there at all.
Do you know what's funny though? Imagine there's some competition between spots, right? Let's say you're an up and coming 8. You want to play for Gloucester, and the coach is like, well, playing you this weekend against Northampton, if you can prove some things, maybe you can have that spot off Zach Mercer. This is all the ammo you ever need to be like, I'm never playing you ahead of Zach Mercer in your fucking life. This is why I picked my first team.
Holy fuck! There were some hammerings in the Prem this.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Saracens.
Yeah, they
hammered
and
Bristol
haven't been bad recently. That's a bit of a surprise.
They're kind of the Saracens have just been getting better and better and better as the
I don't like that. Don't like it.
Has gotten going. They've just been getting more and more Leinster as the league's been going on. Yeah, because they were at the bottom. They're like, oh, they're having shitty. Their players are old. We're all talking shit about them.
Yeah, we were.
And now they're all proving us wrong. They're calling us a bunch of idiots.
I wish they'd stop proving me wrong. Every time I think they're about to die forever, they just come back.
They're zombies. They're rugby zombies. They just keep coming, super zombies though. Not like Night of the Living Dead zombies, super
running zombies with iron skulls.
Yeah. They fucking just hammered Bristol.
Yeah.
And then
Exeter Quins as well.
Okay, Exeter legit, I said this before, I'm calling this now, are going to be a dynasty team going forward.
They felt like they were going to be a dynasty team 3 or 4 years ago, though.
But they lost all their star players.
Yeah.
They invested in their youth.
And they invested in Welsh youth.
Yeah. And they're taking all the Welsh players, and instead of making Welsh teams good, they're making the Exeter Chiefs great. I guarantee you, in the next year or the year after, they're going to win the Premiership.
Okay.
If they keep this core group together.
Yeah.
And they keep because who's the coach there?
Rob Baxter.
Yeah, Rob Baxter.
Best coach in rugby.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's class.
They just got a lot of right things. I'm just calling it now that they're going to win it next year or the year after. Fuck, they might even surprise us and win it this year.
Could do. Beat Harlequins pretty comfortably.
The Harlequins too. They got to be this fucking team. Harlequin I want they probably did too. Rest some guys because of the semifinals
they're both. That was a game they kind of really needed to win, though. That was a game that really would have helped them make the playoffs.
Just looking at the team, they had all their guys out.
Yeah, no, that's a game they needed to win. I know they've got a hangover from that Toulouse game, but they needed to win that game to get into the playoffs.
I know there was some fucking controversy too.
Oh yeah.
Was it this game or was it the game before with Danny Kerr? Wasn't it with Danny Kerr with cards and shit and him?
I don't know.
I forget what it was. No, it must have been a different game. I think it's a different game. But anyways, regardless, this is a fucking this is a game that they need to win.
Well, yeah, look at their squad. That's not a B team.
No.
To put that many points on Harlequins at this stage of the season, that's not good for Harlequins.
You got Don Brandt. The best 8 in fucking
England.
according to Steve Borthwick, he just believes in him for some reason.
Yeah.
He just has like some mad faith in Don Brandt.
Yeah.
He's got more faith in Don Brandt than Don Brandt's got in himself.
Yeah, evidently. Yeah.
Yeah. Like what's the standings going on here with this league here? Because
Exeter in 5th, Harlequins are in 6th after this weekend. They're both on 50 points, but their points difference is pretty massive. So for Harlequins to not win that game is a really big deal, considering they were doing so well in the Champions Cup and they were high flyers for a while.
Tied with Exeter. What is their next? Like Harlequins are going in there. Like Bristol are still in this too.
Yeah.
So like Leicester, Gloucester, and Newcastle, they're done.
Yeah.
Right. This top 4, Sale, Bath, Saracens, Northampton, like that. Like I think the weakest team. Who do you think is the weakest team out of those 4? LaSalle?
Bath.
You think Bath are?
Yeah, I think they're not. I think they're kind of pretending a bit.
They're pretending?
I think so. I think when Finn Russell doesn't play, they just don't look as good. They've done better than they did last year, but yeah.
Because they have, what's their next fixtures here? How many?
Next week, I'll tell you. You got Saracens, Sale.
That's it. They got one more.
That's right. Yeah, that's why it's a big deal this weekend. Harlequins, Bristol next weekend. That'll be a big game.
Mm-hmm. That's a must win for both of them.
Yeah. Leicester, Exeter. All Exeter really have to do is win, which is easier said than done.
So
Bath, Northampton, and Gloucester, Newcastle next weekend.
So when I'm looking at this, Exeter Chiefs are most likely going to beat Leicester.
It's hard to predict.
I can see Leicester beating. I can see Exeter beating Leicester.
Yeah, I can see it. I don't think Leicester will roll over though, even though they haven't got anything to play for.
So like the Bristol Harlequins and Bristol, like that's a must win for both of them. Sale have to see. That's the thing too. So Saracens are playing Sale, right? I could see Saracens beating Sale.
Yeah,
and I could see Exeter beating Leicester. Which would put them into the top 4. And I think, what would Harlequins have to win with?
Well, they'd need other people to lose, I think.
They would need...
They would need Exeter to lose, and they would need Sale to lose. And they would need to get a bonus point. I don't think it's possible. No, it's possible. They would need Sale and Exeter to win to get into the top 4. Sorry, to lose.
Yeah, because if Exeter wins, that's going to put them... Well, if they both win, what's their points difference? It comes down to a points difference, right?
No, but if Harlequins win and they get 3 or 4 points, that puts them above Sale and Exeter if Sale and Exeter both lose. But like you said, I can't see Exeter losing. So they would need to win...
With a bonus point?
They would need to win with a bonus point, and Exeter would need to win without a bonus point.
Well, if Sale lose, they can jump... No, because like it would go...
Oh, no, because... there's so many little equations going. Basically, Harlequins still have a chance.
Harlequins still have a chance. The math is kind of against them.
It is.
Bristol even technically kind of... Like if Sale and Exeter lose and Bristol beats the Harlequins, they can jump up to 4th.
Yep, it's possible.
So
we've been saying this all year. This is the league. This is the most competitive league. Everyone's hovering around 50 points there.
So Saracens have to do the league of 3 teams a favor by beating Sale to open it up for...
Yeah, which I could see happening, actually. Yeah.
So if Sale... But, oh, man. Because, they're not going to want to... Like, Saracens are not going to want to give their last game away.
Like I'm saying, even Leicester are not going to lay over for Exeter next weekend,
Because they're going to want that home game knockout.
Best league. This is the best league.
This is tight.
This is the best league.
This is some tight... Like, you got to do some mathematics to figure out...
Exactly. That's what I want. I want it to be unpredictable. Anyway, let's talk about some news.
I'm just gathering at this lineup here. Like, holy fuck. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess we can talk about some news.
Tell me about some rule changes.
Do you want to talk about rule changes?
Just a little bit. Let's dip our toes in because it's big news. Croc roll, gone. I've been saying this is going to happen. I was telling my players in training, here's how you do a croc roll safely. Well, can you do one safely? That's a question. But I was teaching them how to do it, and then I said, forget about it at the end of the season because it's gone. I knew this was coming, and it's a good... Actually, I'm glad it's going.
Man, when I think about the croc roll,
yeah,
and
Even the name sounds dangerous, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, but it's not a really dangerous move, do you think?
I mean, it's not about that the move, like a safely executed croc roll, I don't think is that dangerous.
But
there's so much room for it to be not safe. If you execute it poorly, you could twist a guy's neck off.
Yeah, if you're grabbing him around the head.
Yeah, but like in the split second it takes to try and get your arms underneath his shoulders, you might miss, he might move, he might shove, you pull too early, you grab a neck. And even if you do it wrong, you can get a, 200-pound, 250-pound guy falling on top of you when you're rolling, right? Like, it's not safe for anyone involved. And remember that Darcy Swain thing where like the guy's leg got mangled because he tried to roll him and the guy's leg got planted? Like, everything about it is not... It can be done safely, but there's too many variables that make it dangerous. That's what I'm saying. So I'm glad it's gone. And I think
the safest bet is just to complete missile dive into the ruck.
That's what I was about to say though. The obvious downside to all this is what's happening recently is a lot of especially the higher performing teams, they just fire flankers into a ruck, right? For me,
they missile into there.
They do. And it's like, and there is some really dangerous clear outs going on, right? People just flying into people's heads and necks. What they're trying to do is make it so that there's just one way to clear out a ruck. And unfortunately, it's like the last bastion of dangerous shit going on in open play, really, right? And that's the firing at, just running straight at a guy head first.
Yeah, the ruck is going to be the kind of the make or break of rugby, eh? Because if they can make, it's a dangerous spot because it is. You're right. The ruck is like probably one of the most dangerous parts of rugby.
Yeah.
And if you nerf that,
yeah,
you take out an iconic thing of rugby. You just you
can't get rid of it.
Soul of rugby.
You can't get rid of it.
You can't get rid of it, but it's also like super dangerous.
But what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it as simple as possible. They've made the gate as simple as possible, and you can't come in at the sides. And they made the way you can clear out a ruck as simple as possible. Unfortunately, that single method that remains, i.e., just running at the guy and trying to push him off, still can be dangerous. And I say to a lot of players, like, if the guy is basically his head is all the way down into the ground and he's latched over that ball, you've lost it, right? If you have to cannonball into his back, you've lost the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But like that, you're not going to tell that to a professional athlete who's going to do everything he can to win a game, right? So there has to be a way to compete.
Because jackling is like the most dangerous thing.
It's horrific.
It's the most dangerous thing you do.
It's horrific.
In my eyes, like your head's down, you're in a very vulnerable position to get that ball. And then you got like huge guys smashing into you
against your back
and neck.
Your neck and your head. It's horrible.
And because it ended what's his name, Sam Warburton?
I mean, there wasn't a single one. His body was just knackered.
Yeah, but it was the jackling that really like did it in for him.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's a bunch of players, and there's a bunch of players who've had it worse than him. So, I mean, I think croc rolls is a good thing they're going, but yeah, the big question mark is like, how do you make the ruck safe? They've done everything they can to make it simple, but I don't think it's ever going to be safe.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Like they're just trying to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Like I don't think the croc roll is like some super dangerous move, but it's something to take out. They're like, oh yeah, we're doing stuff.
It reduces variables, right?
Yeah, it reduces variables.
That's
like,
all it is,
we're
man.
doing things.
Yeah.
And yeah, to me, it was like I wasn't hurt by this rule. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think
it's not like you see the croc roll like all the time. Anyways.
No, it's actually quite difficult to pull off.
Yeah.
Properly. So yeah, anyway, so it's gone, whatever. The other one that I kind of agreed with. No, that was it. No, DuPont's the
DuPont rule that took us like fucking a half hour to like decipher.
Which you need fucking algebra to figure out. Like,
you know that movie, The Beautiful Mind, with all the equations and shit. Or what's that movie with Robin Williams and Matt Damon?
Rain Man.
No, not Rain Man. With Matt Damon, and they're in Boston. And
my boy's wicked smart.
Yeah, he like them apples. How he's doing all like the math equations on the wall and shit like that. Like that's what we had to do to figure out. Like, okay, so they had to run back.
Yeah, because you asked me before we started. You were like, okay, what the fuck is this? And I had watched like 2 or 3 videos to try and like. Then I was ready for this. I was ready for this fucking question. And as soon as I open my mouth, my brain goes, I don't think so. I don't fucking think so. And I start talking and just bullshit comes out. So we both sat here, tried to look up again. And then the main thing we discerned was now, after this new loophole closure, you have to retreat behind your kicker.
Your kicker has to put you onside.
Your kicker has to be onside.
So the team has to work.
Yeah, but even in the rules explanation we read, it's like the player has to make a deliberate effort to retreat. Even that is vague. Just say they have to put themselves onside, right?
I read that fucking line so many times and so many because I was trying to find out, okay, what's the exact
How far do they have to retreat?
Because I read that
right?
line. It's like they have to make an effort to retreat.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, to where?
Exactly.
To how far?
Just be clear with it, right? To put yourself on side by being behind your kicker,
and then I had to find some like random article that actually explained it.
Yeah.
Like I had to go like basically to like fucking Alex Jones' website.
Yeah. Next to the gay frog article.
Yeah, I had to go through the gay frog article, and then right there was like, the full explanation of the punt rules right there.
Yeah.
Like, I had to dig deep.
You had to get onto Google Scholar to figure this shit out. Like,
what do you think about that?
Yeah, it has to be done. But the problem is, it's like they've, by all this shit shouldn't have existed in the first place. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they fixed it, but they've created it by adding rule upon rule upon rule all the time.
Sounds like they fucking have, like, if I might be wrong, but it's almost like they just kind of went back to the way it was.
Yeah.
Right?
They're simplifying rugby, basically.
I kind of like it because now it brings in another cardio aspect into the game.
Yeah.
Because now players have to work.
Yeah.
That kicker has to work to get up there, and the whole team has to work to get on side. And it opens up some attack.
It is a good thing overall because it does eliminate kick tennis basically immediately. So that has to be a good thing, right?
That's why it took so many years of kick tennis for them to be like, maybe there's something wrong here.
Yeah, it took like a million tweets of people going, can you stop? Like, that game was fucking boring for World Rugby to go, oh yeah, people aren't enjoying that, right?
Yeah, because he's fucking, because like, I've been watching rugby for a while, and this kick tennis thing has been going on forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it has been one of the things where I kind of bitched about.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, they just they don't really have to.
But kicking for territory is always going to be a part of rugby, and I don't want it to go away. But the fact that, if you don't move, you can kick the ball, and the forwards can just hang out in the middle of the field. That was the issue.
It also like creates a lot more decision making too. Now, do you want to kick it?
Yeah.
Do you want to kick it? Because my team's really not in a good position.
And then you've got 8 forwards, big heavy boys staring at you, going, "Don't you fucking dare kick it! I am knackered."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So now it forces you to make other decisions, like, because my team's in a jeopardizing situation. I can't really just clear this ball out of here.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to give it to him, and this guy's going to have all this room to run. Like now, like it opens up a lot of different variables in the game.
It stops people taking sneaky breaks as well.
Yeah, because it is a sneaky break.
It is a sneaky break. All the forwards just hanging out in the middle, having a chat while the ball goes back and forth. You know, like it's stopping the sneaky, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about opening up in the game by making people tired. That's one way to do it. So I think overall this is good. But the next one was removing the scrum as a call option, which I profoundly...
From a free kick,
which I really disagree. You still tap and go as an option, or you can kick.
Or you can free kick.
Yeah.
Or after the free kick, you can free kick.
But you can't scrum. So that time, Damien Willemse did the iconic fist together, and the entire rugby world went, what the fuck did he just do? That guy has massive testicles, right? We'll never see that again. You saw it live. Were you at that game?
Yeah.
You saw that live?
Yeah, I saw it live.
You're never going to see it again. Aren't you sad about that?
The thing about that rule, too, is how blatant it is to... of an attack on South African rugby.
Yeah.
Because the only team that has balls to call a scrum in those situations is South Africa.
And if you've got the balls to call a scrum in your 22, you've got massive testicles.
Yeah.
It's risky. Yeah. There was no guarantee they won that penalty.
So for them to be like, we're trying to speed up the game.
Yeah.
Okay, from the one team that does it, the only team that calls a scrum off a free kick is that has the ball, especially in a place like... where they called it is South Africa. They're the only team that does this. Right? Otherwise, everyone's taking the free kick.
Yeah.
Right? No one's calling the scrum.
It was the most zany... Do you remember the film The Waterboy? And you've got the coach and he's got like this playbook of mental plays.
Yeah.
It's like some bigwig, top of the league found his notebook and we're like, we're gonna make a law you can never do that again.
It's some Bill Belichick shit right there.
Yeah.
And it's... it's just so blatant. Like
it does feel like an attack on them,
like,
doesn't it?
we're trying to speed the game. And I'm like...
nothing to do with that.
Okay, well, there's one team that exploits this. There's one team.
Yeah.
So you're not trying to fucking speed up.
And it's not even an
game.
exploitation. It's not like the DuPont. It's not a loophole.
It takes balls to take off, especially when you get a free kick. You're always in your own... Usually when you get a free kick, you're always in your own half.
Why would you pick a scrum in your half?
Because what's it comes off of? It comes off of like a line, something comes off of the line out or something like that, or if you call mark, and stuff like that. Like, so what a free kick comes off of? Usually, you're usually in your own territory, and you want the ball out of there,
and you lose that scrum. penalty this side, that's an immediate 3 points for them, if not a try. Right?
Yeah.
Why would you take... So, yeah, you're right. And you know what is really sad about this? Yeah, it does feel like they're targeting South Africa. I said this like about a month ago when we were chatting. It was like, one thing I genuinely love about rugby is like it's a game for all sizes, right? And if you're targeting the scrum, all of a sudden it isn't anymore. You know, you've got that overweight kid in school, and I coach some of them, and I say, you know, you may not be great at volleyball, you may not be fast enough for football or whatever, but I've got a spot for you, and you're going to be a fucking rock star. And now that kid maybe like they've just chipped away his usefulness a little bit.
Yeah, because the more they nerf the scrum, or they're not even nerfing the scrum, they're just taking it out of the game.
Yeah,
the need for those like fucking props, those beef boys, is like it's gonna go down because now you're like, well, you know, I can have a beefy boy, or I can have a pretty decent beefy boy, but I don't want to have fast, lean, like that. Yeah, the body type's going to change in the prop, right?
Exactly. It becomes like rugby league where everyone's exactly the same size.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's just kind of depressing. Like
it is,
and the fucking lies. Oh, we're trying to speed up the game, the dead time of the game. So there's one team that does this.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one fucking team that does this.
And how many times they did it that you can remember? Once.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it worked.
Because it was such a huge thing because no one's done it before.
Yeah, it was such a ballsy move.
It took the world by surprise because it's so like...
I think that might be my favorite World Cup moment, genuinely. Like, it was so exciting.
It was like, ballsy. It was brave.
Yeah.
It was so out of the blue. And yeah, for them to say like, oh, we're trying to speed the games, like that was the insulting part. Like, hey, like you're... Really, there's like a million ways. Like if you want the scrum, if you want to take out the dead time with the scrum, like I don't know, clock it.
Yeah.
Like you have a certain amount of time to
get to the scrum.
Yeah.
We talked about that before, right? You've called the scrum. You've got like the shot clock. You've got 30 seconds to get to where I've called the mark for the scrum. And if you don't, I'm just giving the other team the ball and they tap and go. Do you know what I mean? Like, and we can do that, and that makes the props hustle. You know.
Yeah. And also, like, they've turned the scrum into this, like, machine, right? Because if you look at old scrums, like, from back in the day, they just kind of gather, they grab each other, and they smash into each other, right?
Yeah.
And it takes, like, a few seconds, right? They're all, like, grabbing on each other, stuff like that, right? And then it was dangerous as shit, right? So when you saw, like, the old school scrums, they're just like, they just all grab each other, and then bam, they're in a scrum, and then they're going, right?
Yeah.
Now, they've made the scrum into this power machine.
And there were strategies to it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. When you use it, how you use it, right?
There's so much power and strength in the scrum now because they're so set up now. They have to fully set up.
Yeah.
They have to
the binds are very specific, right?
Binds are they're so close to each other now.
Yeah.
And that they're getting into that, like, so all that setup now and how much power is behind it. Those guys also need the time to get into that position.
Yep.
Because how much strength and power is going into the scrum now.
Yeah.
Like, if you just, like, you can't just get players to willy-nilly into that situation.
No.
They can't speed. They have to get set up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to, like, break some fucking person's neck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's why there's very specific ways to bind in, right? Because it's a safety precaution. And, you know, you've got guys, I think of the Irish front row as well. They clearly put so much time and strategy and thought into how to win a scrum.
The dark arts,
but like it's a thing, right? And I'm not even implying cheating here. Like the way you strategize around a scrum is a legitimate tactic. These guys train night and day. They squat their ass off, and then they actually do intelligent strategies for scrummaging. And you've taken away that. And like how good South Africa were at that, you've taken away one of their weapons. And it's not like after New Zealand, and people are, oh yeah, South Africa won 2 World Cups in a row. So did New Zealand. We didn't change a thing.
It drives me up the fucking wall that there's fans out there that complain about the scrum.
Yeah. This is not your game if you don't like the scrum.
Yes, it boils my fucking blood.
Yeah.
Like the fact that now that there's more and more rules coming after the scrum.
Yeah.
Boils my fucking blood.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who are you trying to appease?
Yeah.
Like, who is World Rugby trying to appease? These fucking guys? Fuck them.
Yeah.
Like, fuck these guys. Like, go watch League. Go watch fucking Diet Rugby. Like, you know, it's less rugby. If you want less rugby,
there's a sport for
watch,
you.
yeah,
and
if
it's
you
pretty
want to watch
successful.
You want to watch less rugby, go watch fucking League.
Yeah.
Right? Go watch your fucking Super Touch or whatever the fuck it's called. Because, like, it's boring. It's fucking rugby for dummies. It's the worst fuck. It's like, it's just... Like, my blood fucking...
I can tell, yeah.
It boils over this because I love the game so much and I love all the aspects of it. And then for, like, World Rugby to, like, appease these fucking fans that are not even really fans of the sport. Like, they don't even like rugby.
I also think these people who talk about ball in play time and stuff, I don't remember anyone complaining about... What we were complaining about was kicking, right? And you've just... We've taken away an option, which means you don't have to kick it. You could scrum it. And you've given them another kicking option, which already existed. But what people were complaining about was the kick tennis. That was what it was. People were complaining about kicking for territory. And what have you done? You've taken out a scrum option. It's fuck all to do with the speed of the game. Nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with the speed of the game.
No.
I just like... It just... Yeah, it boils my blood. Like, it's just like, why don't you just become league then?
Yeah.
Like, just... Like, fuck. Like, it just pisses me off so much. Like...
we're back to being haters.
League is such
weekend.
a cancer, man. It's like a fucking cancer. That's why I'm always worried about League. Like, when League does things in the United States, it scares me a little bit because it's so like dumbed down. It's rugby for dummies, basically, and that's something that Americans will eat up, right? Because they love their popcorn movies, they love dumb shit, and like things that are like super simple, like two monkeys passing coconuts, like. They'll fucking pay to see that, to watch that shit, right? Like, this is easy. Oh yeah.
The North American market for like league is like where we live in Alberta now. It's like it's a dry forest in the middle of summer. All it takes is a spark.
Yeah.
And then league is fucking everywhere. Yeah. Your forest is on fire.
I'm scared. I'm scared of league because I'm like, oh fuck, man. If they really like try to
figure out this game exists, we're fucked.
Yeah, like Americans cannot know that league exists.
No, I don't.
It has to be hidden from them. It has to be buried. Like it has to be assassinated because, like, if Americans see league, they'll be like, oh fuck, this is like.
You know, in the Mummy movie where there's the Mujahideen protecting the secrets of the tomb, we have to be like the Mujahideen. We have to like anyone talks about, we have to assassinate them. Yeah. Someone mentions league in a pub, like we fucking show up behind him with a knife, like.
I get real aggressive about league too. Yeah. Like every time it comes up in conversations, I just try to like shut it down. I get like real aggressive.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh man, you got to calm down. I'm like, no, you have to kill league on site.
In the crib.
It's an invasive species. It shouldn't exist. Kill it on site. Like kill it, fire.
I don't mind it existing. It's just not in my fucking, not anywhere near my rugby club,
I just don't like I don't know. I just don't like the appeal of it. Like I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
Well, like you said, it's simpler, right?
I really hate league. And the worst part about league is when I first was introduced to rugby, I liked league more.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, league's way better than union. Union doesn't make any sense.
You're like a kid who tried ice cream for the first time, and then 10 years later you go, there are other foods with more subtle tastes.
Or there's different flavors. Like way better flavors.
You had chocolate ice cream once, you're like, this is fucking amazing. And then someone's like, have you heard of salted caramel? Like, oh, wait.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, you could put it between Eggos. You can put it in waffles. You can put it in cookies. You can smash cookies together with it. Like, what? Right? Yeah, you just ate vanilla ice cream just once, and you're just like, oh my god, it's the greatest thing ever.
This forever. This is amazing. Like, there's more out there. There's more rugby to be had.
And it changes, because like I'm not playing fucking league.
No,
I can't play league.
You could play league.
No, I'd have to like get like.
You'd be in the scrum.
I'd have to be like in shape and like be able to run. Like no.
But the thing is, because we have only you've seen union at professional and amateur level, right? Watch an amateur game of rugby league. You could play rugby league.
Well, yeah, but...
You know what I mean? And it's 6 tackles. You could make 6 tackles, they get the ball back.
It just gets worse.
Yeah.
Like just talking about it.
I know, yeah.
Well, it's your turn now.
Do you know what I hate most about it as well? Now you've got me going, is when they flop around a fish on the floor. You know, someone gets tackled and they hold him down for a couple seconds and the guy starts flapping around like, hey, ref, he's holding me. And the ref never once gave a shit. No. Not once does he whistle and go, can you get off him?
Yeah. Like, there's no, like... it's so
because they do
that double tackle.
Yeah.
They always do like that 2-man tackle and they take them down and they hold them for like a couple seconds and then they like back off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Right? Like I guess they're trying to like get their defense set up maybe, but it's so dumb.
Yeah.
Like it's just dumb.
And you know what? We could talk about it more, but we've just talked about it. Those are the rules. That's it. There's no like rule changes. There's nothing exciting. Like that's it. We've discussed it in its entirety. You know. Anyway.
Well, I think we spit out all the rugby we want to spit out.
We're back to being haters again this week.
No, we're a hating podcast now.
Oh well, last week we were pretty positive. Anyway, I'm good with being grumpy. Whatever.
I'm good too.
Yeah.
Well, friends, you can check us out on X. You can. I can never take it serious. Why does Elon Musk have to ruin everything? It's gonna be called X. Check us out on Twitter.
Yeah.
You can also email us at thefriendsofrugbypod@gmail.com. And like and share the podcast.
Thank you.
Put it on your little Facebook post there.
Put it in your bio.
Put it in your bio.
Say you made it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take listens.
Say I just made a podcast. Come listen to it.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Okay, there you go. You can
copyright infringe the fuck out of us. Don't care.
All right, friends. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.